Greg Maddux set to join us. The first ever Diamond Resorts Tournament of Champions is the LPGA season opener set for this weekend. Greg down there participating among the 50 celebrities. You got John Smoltz, Roger Clemens, Larry Fitzgerald, and, of course, Greg Maddux, who joins us on the program. Greg, thanks for joining us. Good morning. What kind of pitcher would you be in today's baseball game?
Well, that's really hard to say. I think you grow up learning how to pitch one way, and as you get older and pitching starts to change a little bit. I think, I was taught to throw strikes and get hitters out in the strike zone, and now the pitching is it's kind of turned the other way where they try to get hitters out of the strike zone. So I think, I don't know if I would adapt it to that or not. I'd like to think I could, but who knows what would have happened.
But you came up as a pretty hard thrower. I don't know what your fastball topped out at, but, if you're throwing 95 or 96 and then something changed and you became a different style of pitcher.
Yeah, I think, I threw hard enough when I was, younger. And, you learn that, it's not so much velocity, it's location and the ability to change speeds. And I think, I had a better chance to win if I pitched to locations, to hitters' weaknesses, as opposed to just wear back and let it fly.
And you wanted to get the hitter. The hitter was going to get himself out. Like you didn't. I mean, that's how you won 18 Gold Gloves, because you expected them to put the bat on the ball. Was that the strategy?
Well, it just was the way it was. It wasn't necessarily the strategy. I didn't really have swing and miss stuff. So I had to rely on really trying to keep the ball in front of the outfielders. I wasn't really worried about giving up singles and stuff, but I did what I could to try to keep the ball in front of the outfielders and, not walk anybody and make them get 3 singles to score.
Also, I look at these starters, and it feels like if you go 5, you did a great job. I mean, we have this quality start stat.
Yeah.
I mean, are we babying pitchers too much here?
Well, the quality start, I'd love to see it be 7 innings and 3 or less runs. I mean, a 4.5 ERA is, it's about average, maybe slightly below average. You think you'd like to, have to do better in a 4.5 runs a game to be considered quality,
Toughest out of your career?
Well, there was a lot of them, Dan. I mean, there was, there were 1 or 2 guys on every team that hit me around pretty good. Louis Gonzalez, Mickey Morandini, Tony Gwynn. I mean, you could pick a team, and I'll give you 2 guys that were tough to get out. For me personally, and luckily you beat lineups and not hitters. You got to sometimes you got to pick your fights and know where your 27 outs are.
How'd you do against Bonds?
You know what? I didn't do good against him the first half of the career, and the second half of the career I did pretty well against him. I think he was easily the best hitter in baseball. I mean, he was the guy when I was playing, and like I said, you got to pick your fights. So you got to do what you can to get Jeff Kinn out and the rest of the guys.
I got you striking out Bonds 16 times in your career. That's the most of any pitcher versus Bonds. Congratulations, Greg.
Well, you know what? Thank you. But, I think it took me over 160 at-bats to do that. I think if some guys would have faced him as much as I did, they probably would have struck him out a lot more.
I remember, having conversations with Smoltz and Glavine, and they talked about Tony Gwynn, and they just said it didn't matter sometimes what you threw. You could tell him what you were throwing. Like, you just – it didn't matter. Did you ever get that feeling? Like, it doesn't matter what I throw?
You know what? It didn't matter. It mattered because you wanted to keep him to a single. So usually if you kept the ball down and away off of him, you very rarely would give up a double. And, it goes back to the beating the lineups again. You had to get Ken Caminetti out behind him. If you did that, you were going to be okay.
How much baseball are you?
Tony was easily the best pure hitter in baseball. He very rarely would he swing and miss.
How much baseball are you involved with now? How much do you watch?
Well, you know what? I don't watch a whole lot. I watch a little bit. I watched the postseason for sure last year. I enjoyed that. But right now, I'm the volunteer coach at UNLV. This is going to be my third year over there, and my son goes there. I get a chance to coach him and about 17 other pitchers, and it's kind of a part-time gig. We only play 50 games. We only practice 5 days a week, and it's not, 8-10 hour days like it is in pro ball. So I'm enjoying that. I get a chance to stay in the game, and at the same time try to pass down what I learned.
Can you teach your style?
Absolutely, you can teach it. You teach the style. The style is the style. Hopefully, the guy's doing it or throwing 95 and not 85. Though. You know what I mean? It's just the philosophy about being able to locate your fastball and change speeds. And the pitcher that does that the best is going to win. It's not always a speed contest. The hardest thrower doesn't always win. The best pitcher wins, and I think that's going to continue to be that way as long as we play baseball. But the guys do nowadays. The fastballs are electric, and you're seeing 97, 98. You're even seeing 100 from a couple guys, and the velocity is impressive, man. I sit back on my couch and watch it and go, holy cow, these guys are blowing. And they got the nasty sliders to go with it, and it's tough hitting right now.
He's Greg Maddux, the Hall of Famer, 4-time Cy Young winner, 18-time Gold Glove winner, joining us. But one of the more impressive stats I found out, Greg, is 14 stolen base attempts, successful 11 times.
Yeah, thank you. That was pretty fun. I think Chipper got me twice at third base. It was a first and second 3-2 count, 1 out. And, that's kind of a sitting duck going into third. So, but I kind of took pride in running the bases. And, if you get a chance to steal a base and they're not holding you on or paying any attention to you, why not try to take it?
No, I can't lie to you. You didn't look fast.
Well, you don't have to be fast to steal a base sometimes,
Especially if
you're going to make it.
If you're on the back end of a double steal, you don't have to be that fast at all.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, I was on the front end of those ones.
Did you ever have a prank pulled on you since you were one of the all-time pranksters? Did anybody get you?
They got me wearing the goofy clothes and shoes on the planes when I was a rookie. That was really about it. Just a lot of verbal name calling and abuse like that, and all in good fun. But we had fun with one another, and sometimes what goes around comes around. So, it's a long season, and you do things to stay loose and have fun. And Smoltzy was good at it, and Steve Avery was good at it. Those guys back in the day, and I used to sit back and watch and enjoy.
Give me the one you can actually tell us on the air that you did.
I didn't really do a whole lot, Dan, to be honest with you. No. I wouldn't really do a whole lot of stuff to guys. I might put certain items in their locker that might have been foul and obnoxious, and good disgusting clubhouse humor, stuff like that. But it's just all in good fun.
David Wells once described you as the silent scumbag. Was that a compliment?
Boomer wasn't actually the cleanest guy in the world either, to be honest with you. But he was fun to play with. I enjoyed my last couple of years playing with Boomer. It was nice to have kind of a guy my age still in the game, and we had some good times. We had some good times sitting on the bench and also playing golf from time to time.
Did you ever feel like you had to sell the game? The commissioner came out and said Mike Trout needs to sell the game. You were one of the marquee pitchers. Did you ever get any of that pressure from Commissioner Seelig that you got to be out there selling the game and selling yourself as a personality?
No, I didn't. I never did get that. I think I did my best to try to respect the game and do the right thing, every day. And, personally, you're doing what you can for your team. It is, you do a lot of things individually in baseball, but the bottom line is it's a team game. And I always try to remember that. And at the same time, respect the game, respect your teammates, respect your opponents. I mean, they have just as much right to be on the field as you. And, I just try to do it the right way.
How often is Chicks Dig the Long Ball, that commercial you did? How often does that come up on a weekly basis?
It comes up. It's amazing how often that comes up. I'm down in Orlando playing in this Diamond Resorts tournament, and it came up about 2 times yesterday from people just walking around the golf course. So, it's been over 20 years since we did that, and it's it's pretty cool that people still remember it.
Heather Locklear was in that one, right?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
Yes, she was. Yeah.
I remember you describing a home run to me as sounding like a car accident, like it's a car crash. Is that an apt description of a home run?
Well, I don't know what I said back in the day, but there's definitely a certain sound when it comes off the bat. You don't need to worry about backing up third because nobody's catching it. So,
But you told me you would rather give up a bomb. You could hit it 450 feet. Just don't hit it 309 and have it trickle over the wall.
Well, yeah, it's always a little bit easier to take. You're not, it's always easier. When the ones that end up scraping the wall, you're thinking the outfielder might actually catch it. And if he doesn't, I need to be in a certain spot on the field in case there's a play. So, it makes life a little easier if it's, a no-doubter.
But do you remember one of those home runs where when you threw it and then you don't even turn around? Did you have one of those moments?
Yeah, I've had quite a few.
Not
I think
that
Gary
many.
Sheffield's pretty good at it. I think I gave up over 200. So, I gave up a lot of home runs. But Gary Sheffield had a couple that were like McGuire hit one, Sammy Sosa hit a couple. Larry Walker hit a few, Galarraga. There's all kinds of guys.
What's your favorite piece of sports memorabilia you have at home?
Well, probably my World Series trophy.
Okay.
I think we did get one, and that was kind of the ultimate prize in baseball. And, the Gold Gloves and Cy Youngs are nice, but that World Series trophy is just a lot more special.
Would you know if one of your Gold Gloves was missing? Like if I snuck in and took one? Would you know?
Probably not. I know my dad and mom have taken one from time to time, and I had to ask them if they had it, and, they said they did, but,
You could chip the pizza guy with a Gold Glove. You got 18 of them.
Well, yeah. I took pride in my field, and I think it's important to be a baseball player, not just a pitcher, and, knowing how to catch a ground ball is one of them.
Well, have fun at the golf tournament. Good to catch up with you. And thanks for joining us, Greg. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dan. All right. We'll see you, bud.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.